tend to zero that person out. I tend to not talk about it. And that really affected me. Back then in Nigeria, there was a business I was doing that the person that was supplying me wanted to teach me the business from the scratch. So I was selling the finished product. Once it's finished with production and everything, it sells for me. I buy at lower cost and sell. I can buy it at as low as 7,000. Then I sell it at 20 or 25,000. So that's how we were doing the business. And one day the guy was like, Favor, you are good at this thing. Let me teach you the raw production, as in from the scratch, how it's being made, how it's being arranged, how it's being prepared. The guy kept talking to me that we should go to the warehouse so that he can teach me all those things. In my mind, I was like, because I was cool with me selling the finished products, but the guy actually wanted to teach me the basis of the business. He wanted to build a relationship with me so that he can teach me, from the scratch. But because at that time I was just working, this was just a side also I was doing, so I was comfortable with me just doing the finished product. I was not interested in the raw materials or how it's being produced. And it's not like I would just tell the person shut up. I was just like, okay. But in my mind, me and the person know that I'm not interested. I don't even want to hear what the person is saying. So that was how my mindset was working at that time. And over the years, I tend to understand that 5 years, 2 years along the line, I will want that information. That somebody was trying to tell me about visa 3 years ago. Oh my God. I shut that person down. I didn't listen. Somebody was trying. Okay, let me give an instance of makeup. Yeah, I did makeup now, but you guys can't see it because the day is actually very dark. It's getting dark, and this is just, what's the time here? This is this is 6 o'clock, and the day is already dark. That's winter for you. So, as I was saying, makeup. I had this lady that was selling makeup for me. A lot of my friends were doing makeup. I had 2-3 professionals that were doing my makeup. I built a relationship with them back then in Nigeria, to the extent that they used to give me discounts. If they are doing makeup for everybody for 50k, if it's me, they'll tell me to bring 15,000. So I was their customer. Anytime I'm going for occasion, I will just patronize them. So, but it never occurred to me one day that this makeup that I'm doing, let me even learn. Let me just ask them for maybe to teach me, because it was not my problem at that time. I never did, But the makeup one, I was able to adjust that at the end of the day. I'm going to come back to the story. Then back then in school, in secondary school, I used to have friends where they used to make hair. You help me weave my hair, I weave your own. The transaction was going on around my friends then. They'll weave their own when they come to school on Monday. The other person will weave the other person's own. But me, I had a sister that weaved my hair in school. I wasn't interested. Even while they tried to talk me into it, that was not my problem at that time. So because of that, I'll just shut that page up and focus on my situation at that time. And I got to realize that when I got to abroad, now I had children. I never make use of that opportunity. And I started making hair for them. Every 2 weeks, I was spending real money, guys. That was when I realized that, Favor, you had opportunity to do these things. And you just shut down that place. And at the end of the day, you couldn't. Then we now go to abroad. Abroad, who will even do the makeup? You won't even find them. And even if you find them, the kind of price they will not tell you. But before I left Nigeria, the girl I was buying makeup from told me that her sister was doing makeup. During that time, I was already pregnant. I tried to learn, but I couldn't. So I had to now learn it the hard way. So what am I saying in essence is that what I realized in this time of my life is that when people bring things to you, even when you are not, it's not your feed at that time. It's not something you are interested in. Just listen. Listen, try to know. Somebody is coming out to tell you, oh, this is how they make these clothes, or this is how they do these things. It's not what is doing you at that time, but just listen, give it attention. Oh, really? This is how they do it. Try and put interest. Try to know, because later in life, you might not necessarily be doing that thing, but just having an idea about it can rescue you from a long time mistake, can rescue you from a lot of things. And that is what I've learned over the years. Those are attitudes that I had to pull away from, because they weren't taking me anywhere. You know, they were kind of a disadvantage kind of attitude to me, for me, instead of an advantage kind of attitude. And now I realize that whatever I am doing, even if somebody is coming up with any gist that is not even my line, I try and listen. Recently, a friend of mine was talking about game, and we were like three, and we were talking. The third person was talking about game. Game does not concern me. I don't do gaming. I don't play gaming. I don't play raffle. But I had to put my interest, because I have learned it over the years. You know, I tried to, oh, really? Oh, how do they do this game? What do they do? You know, I was trying to listen. I was trying to engage in the conversation, just to learn one or two things. And I got to realize that if you want to produce your own games, this is the kind of course you should read. This is the kind of things you should know. I got to know them in just that conversation. Initially, I don't know how they make games. I don't even know. But while I was listening to them talking about games, if it was me of before, as they are talking about that game, I'm not hearing anything again. I might just take my phone and just be pressing. Why? Because what they are discussing is never my focus. But now I got to realize that even when those things are not things that you are doing at the moment, just listen. Listen, because you will need it later in life. Even if not for your own personal use, you might use it to help someone in the future. If someone is coming to meet me now and tell me that, oh, I want to do my own game, I can be able to have a good conversation with the person with what I heard from that discussion. So that's one of the things I've learned in my life, that one attitude I used to have that I had to do away with, and now I know how to act better when those kind of things show up my way. So guys, I hope you have learned something from this video. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I will see you when I see you.